January 15th, 1919, a day when Boston experienced one of the most bizarre and tragic disasters in American history. Imagine a peaceful morning shattered by an explosion, followed by a wall of sticky brown molasses tearing through the streets. This is the story of the Great Molasses Flood, a catastrophe so strange it feels like fiction, but every word is true. Today, we'll uncover how greed, negligence, and the laws of physics combined to create one of history's oddest tragedies. The early 1900s were a time of rapid industrialization. Boston's North End was a dense neighborhood of Italian immigrants, workers, and families. It was here that the Purity Distilling Company built a massive storage tank in 1915. Standing 50 feet tall and 90 feet in diameter, the tank could hold 2.3 million gallons of molasses. But why so much molasses back then? Molasses wasn't just for cookies or pancakes. It was big business. The Purity Distilling Company used it to produce industrial alcohol for making munitions during World War I. But from the very beginning, the tank was a disaster waiting to happen. The engineers who built it had no experience designing such massive structures. After its construction, the tank leaked molasses so badly that local children would collect the sweet syrup that dripped down its sides. Instead of fixing the leaks, the company painted the tank brown to hide the problem. It was a shortcut with deadly consequences. On the morning of January 15th, 1919, Boston's temperature had risen sharply from freezing to over 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This rapid change caused the molasses inside the tank to expand. At around 12:40 p.m., the tank finally gave way. Witnesses described hearing a loud rumble, like a freight train or thunder. Suddenly, the tank exploded, releasing its contents in a tidal wave of molasses. The wave was 25 feet high and moved at a shocking 35 miles per hour. It smashed through buildings, overturned freight cars, and swept people off their feet in just seconds. The North End became a scene of chaos. Horses were stuck and couldn't escape the sticky flood. Men, women, and children were trapped as the molasses solidified around them. One firefighter, who was in a nearby station, recalled that the wave knocked the building off its foundation. Rescuers worked frantically, but they faced incredible challenges. The molasses was so thick that it slowed their movements, and as the cold air returned, it began to harden. It took hours to free people and recover bodies. By the end of the day, 21 people had died, and over 150 were injured. In the days that followed, the North End was unrecognizable. The cleanup effort was monumental. Workers had to shovel hardened molasses, and the sticky mess seeped into buildings, streets, and even Boston Harbor. For decades, residents claimed the area smelled like molasses every time the weather turned warm. The disaster also led to one of the largest class action lawsuits in American history. Survivors and families of the victims sued the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, which owned Purity Distilling. The investigation revealed shocking details. The tank had been poorly constructed, never properly tested, and its safety concerns ignored. In 1925, after years of hearings, the company was found liable. They were ordered to pay $628,000 in damages, equivalent to around $9 million today. The case set a precedent for holding corporations accountable for public safety and led to stricter building codes across the country. Today, as Shri, the Great Molasses Flood is remembered as a peculiar but tragic piece of history. A small plaque near the site commemorates the event, but many Bostonians have never heard of it. The flood reminds us of the dangers of cutting corners in construction and the human cost of corporate negligence. It also serves as a bizarre but sobering lesson. Even something as seemingly harmless as molasses can wreak unimaginable destruction when mishandled. Thank you for joining us as we explored the Great Molasses Flood of 1919. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that uncover the forgotten corners of history.